All right, our Tim Burton self-portrait. In the style of Tim Burton, we're going to create maybe not so realistic self-portrait, exaggerating our face. So there are a couple of handouts for you to look for a head shape you might want to use for your Tim Burton project. I am going to exaggerate my head, making a really long oval, and I'm making sure I have space all the way around that oval for hair, for a long skinny neck, and if I don't have, or if my neck doesn't touch the bottom of the paper, I definitely need to add a couple of things so it doesn't look like I'm chopped off. So I've got a neck, a collar, I've got a shirt at the bottom, and it stretches so that it touches the bottom of the paper. Tim Burton eyes are always large. You can kind of decide what shape or style you prefer. I'm going to go with those really big circle eyes. I'm making sure I left some space at the top and the bottom for other details like hair, like a nose. There are some nose details, like in this one that looks like a triangle, but we can see a little bit of the nostrils. And lips could look like they're closed, like braces, like funny teeth. I'm going to do just some normal lips that are closed. I am drawing all of this in pencil first. Headed back to the eyes, Tim Burton was known for tiny pupils in his movies, like The Nightmare Before Christmas, Corpse Bride, or Caroline. I'm going to add a few eyelashes. If you are somebody who has glasses, or freckles, or a mole, or a scar, you could add a couple of those things. I have freckles. Hairstyles can really depend on what your hair looks like, or maybe even what you wished it looked like, and it could be exaggerated. I'm going to add some hair at the top of my head that comes down and around. And I do have some hair that comes down on my forehead. You might have to erase a little bit. I might erase those top lines of my head shape. You could add lines or curly lines or texture, or if you have something in your hair, you could add all of those details. To make this look more like maybe a Halloween or a Tim Burton type portrait, I'm going to add a couple of maybe texture lines or designs in the corner. They could be cobwebs. They could just be maybe where the picture is starting to get darker. So these are things all drawn in pencil. I've filled my paper up. I've used the Tim Burton handouts to help it look like his style. And now I'm ready for value. So at the store counter, you will have a lot of choices of crayons, of colored pencils, of Sharpies, of oil crayons. You can decide how you want to add value onto your picture. I would begin by outlining with black. You can decide if that's black crayon or if that's a black colored pencil. Mrs. Cleary already broke her crayon. She's known for that. As you're pushing hard, make sure you're holding that crayon like a pencil so that you don't break as much. So first step would be outlining everything with that black. If there are areas that you know you want super dark, you could also use the Sharpie to add those dark values. If you're somebody who would prefer to outline with the Sharpie, you could do that. I like a crayon better because I can change my value quicker. So right now, I'm going to just, wow, 2 for 2. Maybe I should be using a colored pencil. I'm going to just start to focus on value in the face. Pretend I have outlined everything. When I'm ready to add value, I want to think about Tim Burton's style of maybe some sunken in eyes. So I'm changing how I'm holding this crayon. I'm pressing lighter to get some medium values under the eyes. Maybe my freckles also have a medium value, not pressing as hard, holding the crayon a little bit different. You want to think about your face and your head and your neck as 3D forms. So when our head and our neck touch on paper, it looks flat. If we add a little bit of value, a shadow under our chin, it's going to start to look like our face becomes a form. I might add a little value on the sides of my face. As I start to add value in the hair, I started with Sharpie, but I could combine that with crayon as well. I might hold my crayon on the side to color in some value. I might combine that with a white crayon. So maybe my white and black start to smear and I get a new kind of a gray. I might have spots in my hair that are completely white. If you want a really, really standout highlighted white, I would suggest using that oil crayon, especially in the eyes. So if I color this whole thing with an oil crayon, it's going to be really nice and bright white. I can't always get that bright white with a colored pencil or with a crayon. I'm going to go over those spots that I colored on top. So today, you want to show off those values. If I flip to a finished project, this has a lot of dark, a lot of light, and then some shadows between. Really thinking about Tim Burton style of getting some shadows under the eyes, the nose, around the face, the chin. And if you were somebody who added designs in the background on the corners of your paper, cobwebs, or just some crazy lines, add value to those too. The more darks, lights, and grays on this project, the more it's going to look like a Tim Burton project. Thinking about using even your value scale from last time and looking, did you get all those dark spots? Did you get some that are in between and some really light ones? A fifth grader should have lots of values in this project.